Hey, it's Ezzie the Tactical Gamer here. I just got my hands on Medal of Honor Warfighter. It's part of the EA First Play initiative that was in Australia, in shopping centres around Australia, where I got to play Medal of Honor Warfighter on some PC rigs they've got set up. So I just wanted to tell you about how the game looked, gameplay, tactics and tips, and comparison with Call of Duty and Battlefield 3, just because I play those games as well. Well, first up, how the game looked. I played it on the PC and it looked amazing. It was beautiful. Its frame rate was very, very high, obviously way over 60, much higher than what consoles will get because they'll only get 30 frames per second. But it was just looked great. The graphics were great. It was smooth. The sound was wonderful. The game, just as a game, it just looked awesome. We played multiplayer. We played for I think more than an hour. We played a fairly small map. I think it was Somalia, and it was 8 players. It was 4v4. We had capture the flag or domination, if you prefer Call of Duty terms, where you just have 3 flags to hold, and the team that holds flags most after 15 minutes wins. And so I just wanted to tell you about what I think my first impressions of the game are. Well, they let us play about 6 or 7 classes: a sniper, a demolitions guy, an assault guy, a point man. There was also an SMG class, I think. They'll obviously allow for more classes and more mix-up with which faction you're going to be, like SEAL, GROM, Delta, SASR, or whatever. But I thought it just worked really well. So one big thing about Medal of Honor Warfighter is that they have a new gameplay system called Fire Teams, where you have a buddy system, where you're always attached to one guy on your team. So not like Battlefield 3, where you're all for squad and you can just spawn on them. This is much more enhanced. This is to the point where you can reload whenever you're around them, as in you can grab ammo off them, you can regenerate health quicker off them, things like that. So I think the fire teams worked really well. Even though we couldn't communicate with each other because we didn't have microphones, we could still do a lot together just because I knew where my teammate was. That was just really, really fun. I think this buddy system, this fire team system, is going to make or break the game. And so far, from what I've seen, from how much I've played, I feel like it really works. The map we played on was very close quarters, so I'm looking forward to see how the larger maps with more players go, because we only did have 8 players and it was a small map. So with 24 or plus players, how would the game go? I'm not sure, but I'll move on to tactics and tips I feel like will be helpful when you do get the game. So Xbox players will get this game on their open beta in early October. Unfortunately for PS3 and PC, we don't get that. But what I thought would be helpful is to give you some first impression kind of tactics and tips. So first of all, with the fire teams, they work so good that you do need to stay close to your buddy. Even if you don't know the player, even if you're not playing a friend, you do need to stay close to them, just because they can give you ammo. I noticed that with each weapon you only get about 2 clips of ammo besides what's in your weapon already, so you run out of ammo quite quickly. So you need to stay close to them to get ammo for your weapon, for also regenerating health as well, but also to be able to flank people well. So if you see that your teammate is being fired upon, it's a very, very good way to be able to work together to flank. So while they're trying to defend themselves and hold down the fort there, you can flank them easily, because the enemy will be in a place that your teammate is firing upon, and you'll be able to just mow them down quite easily from the side. So stay close to your fire team. Okay, secondly, classes. You've got to use them to your advantage. So I'll just run through the kind of weapons I used. So I used the SASR, the Australian SAS, point man most. He had an F88 assault rifle, and he also had heavy hitter magazines, and it was just a really fun guy to play. With assault rifles, there's a bit of kick, but I feel like those are the ones that are going to dominate most ranges, as usual. I felt like as long as I burst fired quite a lot, I could always get my shots on target. However, if I pulled down a full auto kind of shots, they would go everywhere. So you must burst fire with assault rifles. With the SMG class, we use the MP7A1. That was just an amazing weapon. It killed quite slowly, but as long as it was you got them first and they didn't get to shoot you at all, you'd take them down quite quickly. But a one-on-one situation, if you're very close, SMGs are the way to go. It was also suppressed, so that was quite nice to be able to flank people well, especially since my teammate most of the time were using loud weapons and assault rifles. Yeah, that was just the way to go for my kind of playstyle. I also had a demolitions kind of guy, support kind of guy with LMGs. I felt like LMGs, they you aim down sight very slowly, so I feel like those are the kind of guys who would yeah, be very good in a support role, but very, very bad for up front. So don't use a support guy while you're on the front lines of battle. Also, you had things like grenade launchers, as kind of extra secondary weapons. But they work pretty well. But I still stick with my guns because their blast range. As long as they were close to the grenade, they would definitely die. But if they were just a bit further, it won't do much. That's how I felt anyway. The sniper rifle, the SEAL sniper that I used, he had a bolt action gun, but the thing was, every time you shot, it wouldn't just, he would cock the bolt or anything. The whole gun would obscure the whole screen. So I guess that's a way for them to get rid of quick scoping, but it's just really distracting that, it means that you definitely can't use a sniper rifle in close range. Also with pistols, I felt like pistols were quite weak, but because it took so long to reload some weapons, you really needed to pull out those pistols now and then. Quite often, I got a lot of pistol kills. Also, I felt like I used quite a lot of support actions. I used things like the UAV. That was just fun to, you get nearly kind of like a paper airplane kind of thing that you put into the sky. That was quite fun. Some things like the A-10 Warthog, that's an air support thing. I found that all the air support took quite a long time to get there. So you definitely can't, just point them to a certain area and expect them to bring air support within 3 seconds. But they take about 10 seconds, so you'd want to put them on the flag to defend flag areas or to clear out an area. Also with the mortar strike, that was quite amazing. That's another support action. A mortar strike, I placed it on the area, I waited 10 seconds, I ran into it. The blast range was huge. I killed myself at least twice with my own mortar strikes. Yeah, watch out for them. They're just really, really, really amazing. Also, yeah, just because this game is quite realistic, I would say move very, very slowly. Check your corners properly. This is definitely not a run and gun game. You need to check your corners. You need to stay with your fire team. You need to make sure that you just check everything. They've done a really good job in making this quite like modern infantry combat. So act as if your life was on the line, and I think you'll do quite well. I think with how I do my gameplay, how I do my tactics, the way I play games is quite realistic because that's what I'm going for, and I felt that gave me a huge advantage, and I was able to dominate all the matches and help my team win pretty much every time. But I feel like this is a game that's really, really, really fun. Yeah, so just a comparison with Call of Duty, definitely much slower paced, much more realistic. It's just going to be a different game, I think. I like Call of Duty, Battlefield 3, and Medal of Honor. They're different games. I don't feel like this is going to be just a Battlefield 3 without vehicles like the Medal of Honor 2010. I think this is a totally new game because of the fire team, and I think it's worth getting. So I'm very much looking forward to it when it comes out on the 23rd of October, or the 25th for Australians like me, and I hope to see you. Also, one more thing, sorry, I forgot to say that the PS3 version, I talked about all the versions with an EA rep on the day, and they just told me that, yeah, the PS3 version doesn't actually look as good as the Xbox. So, yeah, it's just something to think about if you already have an Xbox, but obviously the PC version is going to be kick every other consoles. But anyway, I'll give you more tactics and gameplay if I can. I'm currently in the middle of asking EA for permission to yeah, capture their gameplay and put it on YouTube and put commentaries on there. So yeah, I'll be able to update you to see if I can actually do that for you guys in the future. Anyway, see you guys later.